Good evening, everyone. My name is Shayla, and welcome to the night shift. I was supposed to broadcast yesterday, but I decided not to. I had a couple things on the mind and thought it wasn't the best. I wasn't in the best state of mind to do my stream yesterday, but today I'm in a great state of mind, and I made a decision. Not like anybody's looking to see, but that's fine. I made a decision. I think I'm going to do this on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays instead. Because I can broadcast a bit longer on a Saturday. If I choose to not do it, that's fine. But during the week, I need to spend a little bit more time getting a bit more adept at video editing because I still have content that I need to put out, and I'm really wish I could get it out there, but I just don't have it out there just yet. Oh, let me get started on Twitch. I forgot. Oh, Twitch users, I'm so sorry you didn't get to see my roll in. Thanks for joining me on the night shift. Again, my name is Shayla. I am a network engineer and a CIO at a MSP in Southern California. I have a very small crew. On the day-to-day, I do a lot of technical work. I do a lot of high-level work. I do a lot of low-level work. And what I'm doing is I'm already going to be working. I'm already going to be doing that. So I'm just here to chill. And if people want to join me and ask me any questions that they may have that are technical, preferably technical, I've got opinions on just about everything. But one thing I know for sure are the things that I know in the IT realm. Now, I don't know everything. Okay? I do not know everything. I don't profess to know everything. There's no shaming me into feeling like I should know something per se. We all are on a journey. That said, I will never speak to you in a way that makes you feel like you're a dummy. There's all kinds of things we don't know, but I am here for you. Want to know how to... but let me offer some clarification. I will do digging for you on the hardware end, but I am not a hardware person. I am straight logical, straight software for the most part, unless, we're talking about like some edge equipment. I can slay it on a sonic wall after years of training. I can manhandle some Unify equipment as well. At any rate, the beginning phase of our session is dedicated to me doing the work that I need to do. Today, I've got a good amount of work. Every day, every time I do this, I got a little something better. First, I got my little MSP Backline little situation in the middle. I'm going to make that move someday soon. I just try to improve every time. Every time I try to get a little better. And that's what I hope that you achieve when you chill with me for the night shift. Another reason why I want to do one of my night shifts on a Saturday is because Monday people are going to work, or, they're just getting into the week. They don't want to, Wednesday is hump day, and Friday people are possibly going out right after work. I don't know. I don't. I go home. But the Tuesday, we're past the first day when you need to get into your stuff. Thursday, we're leaning into Friday. We might stay and do some late work. Saturday, I'll definitely have some more time to do a longer stream and perhaps attract more people to us, so that we can have a community here. Because again, I was already going to be working. I'm sure you're already working. Just join me. I listen to lo-fi jams. That's probably going to change as I start to, again, get more into the tools that I'm using and get better at it and add music and this and that. You want to help me along? Speed up the process? Donate. Donate to MSP Backline via Cashfly. That is my handle. Buy me a coffee. You know what I mean? So, anyway, thank you everybody for joining me. Right now, it is night shift time. I'm working, and I will answer any questions that might flow into the chat. My night shift working and Q&A are all at the same time because we really don't get that many people, if any, right now. Just getting started. This is like my 4th or 5th stream. Again, welcome. Welcome to the night shift. what do we have going on today? Well, I can tell you I had a crazy day. A day that was so crazy that I barely got a chance to even touch my ticket queue. And my ticket queue is fat. Again, you won't ever really be able to see the things that I'm doing actively unless I'm working on my demo environment. Now, when I do recordings of things, that's when you will, when I do demos of things, that's when you'll get an opportunity to see more of what I'm doing on the day-to-day, because then I can, in video editing, blur out things that I don't want people to see. I may very well jump into our demo environment today because I have a side project going. And actually, I may not. My demo environment isn't ready. I need to get it ready. I need to record myself getting it ready, and I can edit it, and then I can have it prepared for me to mock up things. Because one of my challenges today with a project that I had going on was that on a workstation, I was able to make sure that SSO was configured properly for this domain as it pertained to their Office 365 accounts. So as soon as they log in, they're connected to their Office space. They log into Word or open up Word, it's automatically logged in. That's fantastic. That's exactly how we want it. Minimal. On one end, while these users are at work, we want them to be as comfortable as possible, as nonplussed by things that are out of their purview as possible. They're not IT people. They don't want to have to be entering their username and password all the time. We want to give them that in as many ways as we can without sacrificing security. So I was able to get them in. We got our single sign-on working. I can even tell that the settings that I had set for OneDrive were correct in group policy. The difference between this environment and ones that I usually set up is that in this environment, they don't want known folder forwarding. They don't want a redirection of known folders. Known folders would be your desktop, your documents, and your pictures. They've kind of trimmed it down in cloud. I know with redirect in Windows Active Directory, it is your desktop, your documents, your pictures, your videos, your photos, your music. Pictures are photos. Your pictures, your videos, your music. Those three inside of the documents, and inside of the documents, and additionally the desktop. So it was like 5 folders. No longer does Microsoft put the videos and photos and music inside of the documents folder, which would be ideal in this particular situation if they still did that. They don't still do that. That is a Windows 2000 style of structure for documents and settings versus users. But as far as the syncing is concerned, in the UI, the only 3 folders they have the option for are photos, desktop, and documents. It is possible, of course, to sync your photos or sync your videos and sync your music if you so chose by just adding those folders to OneDrive for syncing. We're not going to get into that. It's just kind of a side note. So what are the things that I'm going to be working on today? I'm going to be working on getting my queue down to a manageable number. 58 is not manageable, although because I am the lead engineer and I'm also the CIO and I'm also this and I'm also that, a lot of the stuff that comes through that isn't touched by our email parser, it comes in, it hits my inbox for me to determine, is now the time for me to make sure I don't see this again, by making sure by massaging my parser or even massaging the integration between the third-party app that's sending me this ticket, or just massaging that to ease up the lessons, or is it something that's actionable, something that needs to be done? Most of these notifications that I've been getting lately have been from SaaS alerts. SaaS alerts sits on the back end of the majority of my managed Office 365 accounts, and it works to do three things. I use it to set security policies, to standardize them and set them similarly across all of my client base. It also offers reporting, not reporting really, but notifications, ticketing integration, so that I can get alerts if there are certain things that happen within my Microsoft 365 environments that might seem untoward or bad. In addition to that, it integrates with my monitoring and management software. And within that monitoring and management software, each of my machines is also tied to their Office 365 account. I have integration in the RMM. There's ability to cross-reference, and then when we get when there is a notification or an alert that comes in, or even just anything in general that is recorded as it pertains to one of my end users who has a SaaS protected account, the back end is able to cross-reference and match that person with a machine. Part of the process of determining whether or not a particular action was nefarious or not, one of the baselines for that is, did all of this happen on a machine that's managed or not? And so it's pretty cool that there's that in-depth analysis. Even cooler that there's an integration that ties my SaaS alerts for a cloud platform with machines that are physical and at various locations. So that's pretty cool. So I've got a lot of alerts from that I need to clean up today. I have a user who wants a restriction for their internet access removed from their computer, and they've been granted authorization for that, so that's going to get taken care of. And I have some other tickets to close for issues that I already worked through. So just enjoy this scene over to my right. Enjoy the music in your ears. And just let me know if you have any questions. If there's anything that you want me to take a look at. Can I help you with? Need some advice? Let me know. I'll be talking through it in just a second. I'm just getting tapped into all the places here. I just want to make sure that I can watch what's going on Twitch and stuff too. I think I may have gone off. I kind of diverted back to that project that I'm working on. Yet they don't want to redirect those folders. I'm not seeing an automatic login of OneDrive. It's loading. I can get into my software. It's not prompting me for the password, but for some reason, OneDrive is not automatically logging in. I usually do set it up to do a redirect as well. And so there's some extra steps that need to be taken. I've never just stopped at automatically log me in. The whole point of the automatic login has always been to set those redirected folders. So we'll see. The last hiccup that we got over was that they were using per user install of OneDrive, and we needed a per machine install to make this work ideally. I don't even know how techs without like that run just a single environment. I don't even know what I'd do without my tools. At this rate, like my RMM tools, the statistics that I could look at, I would feel completely blind. I'd feel completely blind if I walked into, basically needed to offer assistance on an environment and didn't have any concept of what was installed on machines, like what map drives are there, what printers are they connected to. Now, there are different ways that you can make sure that you can do this through group policy by getting that set up. But anyway, I need to get to work. Let's go. Modified outside location. They have this meeting weekly, and they all open up the same document at the same time. I've been trying to quiet this error, but I haven't. Today's not the day that I'm going to, so I'm just going to move forward and close these 4 tickets that have a user agent of MSOCS. Let's see, look at this. Okay. MSOCS Microsoft versus MSWAC was another user agent. But MSOCS, it refers to Microsoft Office Collaboration Service. So when I see a user, a type that is, what is it? Hold on, I want to make sure I got this right. User agent that is MSOCS for a series of users, and they all access the file at the same time. Like a series of users all accessing the same file. I know that they're working together. I mean, that's what this means anyway. Okay. In essence, if you see MSOCS in Microsoft Logs or in SAS alerts, think collaboration. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna grab these outside approved locations. All of them are deferring to the MSOCS user agent. One, two. I have some that are different. It's a different organization. Okay, that's 4 tickets. No further action. Collaboration. Close. And just like that, I'm down to 54. Close out 4 at the same time. Now, I've got user added. Oh, this came from Rocket Cyber. How is that? I'm gonna check out this Rocket Cyber incident here. It advised me that I added a role for a user, and I did. But I'm trying to determine. Let's see. Global administration. Because I did make an attempt, I only partially hooked in to this particular tenant. They are managed by GoDaddy, and I was able to hook in on some of the SaaS alert services because GoDaddy would let me, but then there was a point when I couldn't because I couldn't get to that particular management interface, and you know which one it is. It's the admin, the main admin interface. It's so weird. You can't get to admin, but you can get to intro. And the thing that frustrates me about intro is you can't do things like license manipulation, domain manipulation there. To me, it seems like you should be able to. But that's, intro came after, so that's what we get. Eventually, I bet it'll be moved to intro. It seems like that's the place where you should have all of those management functions, as opposed to the admin interface at this rate. Okay, so this I can close. This ticket I can close with an indication that I made this account for migration purposes. One other thing that I noticed here in this ticket. Oh, never mind. It's in the right client name. I thought it was in our organization name, which would not have been what I wanted. I keep these integrations set up so that when a ticket is created in any of the platforms that I use to monitor my clients, that when it creates a ticket in the name of the client. Thank you again for joining me, MSP Backline, for the night shift. I got the juice. So I'm going to close this ticket because that is correct. I did, in fact, make this account. I made this account because I can't do a mail migration from GoDaddy. Well, actually, I can't do a mail migration with BitTitan unless the operating account has a mailbox. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else that I can close at the same time that I close this one with a similar closure note. Here we are. There's another one. It's an event that I'm sure is closely related because the tickets were created within 10 minutes of each other. Yep. This is when the account in question was promoted to global administrator. And then I have another notification for another org. I'm not entirely sure why this wasn't set up in the right organization, because I have other tickets that are specifically for this organization that have come from, but I'll figure that out when I get to it. These two I need to close. And the way I'll close them at the same time is I will select them in the list of tickets and then add a note to both of them. I don't need to add hours to either of these. This is back-end maintenance work. It's not going to be billed to a client directly, and most of my clients are like 99.99% of my clients are contractual. They've got a contract, so I don't nickel and dime them for tickets. That's just silly. No further action. No further action required. a migration I'm fast tracking. But since they have less than a handful of mailboxes, so it's not going to be that big of a deal at all. As a matter of fact, if I can cut them over tomorrow, I will. Alright, and then I had a user, like I said, I was buried today, so I had a user at one point today who called in. Today was like Adobe printing, annoy me all that you can day. That's what it was. Which any day that involves printers is a day that's annoying. Fully the truth on that one. Let me see how my other camera looks. I don't like that. I really need to. It's like the best camera is going to be right in front of my monitor. Maybe I can do more zoom with that one. That's what I need to do, is probably more zoom. So, she printed only half the page printed. The job was stuck in the print queue. She was unable to cancel the print job, even though she was the owner of the print job. It's frozen. My first step, I get under the system. I cycle the print spooler to release the file so I can delete the print job. Didn't quite want to do that. It didn't quite want to do that, and by that I mean release the print job. So I did a restart of the print spooler. Still couldn't restart the gosh darn job. Or rather, delete the job from the queue. So I pulled open. The print spooler, which, I'm running out of disk space, is C, Windows, System 32, spool, and then printers. First time you go in, you will get that notification. Once you get in here, you will see nothing if things are healthy. I'm gonna leave this held in because I think it has something to do with one of my printer utilities. But when I say nothing, I mean files. So I went into this lady's spooler and it was just littered with, it was stacked full of discarded print data. And so I killed all that, tried to print again, it didn't work. Tried to test print, tried printing from other places, worked just fine. Tried printing another PDF, it worked just fine. So, if I had a crowd in here, I'd be doing a Q&A right now, a quiz. I'd be asking, so what was the deal? If you did all of those things, what did I narrow this problem down to? And I'd wait, and I know some genius out there would answer me. The problem was the document. You go through a process of troubleshooting something, and the point is to narrow down what the problem could be. Your process has to be logical, and it has to be critical in its thinking. Okay? So, like, that's why IT is not a job for bucketheads. It's not a job for people that don't have any desire to study or understand what the shit they're talking about. Because, like, as a technician, I will sometimes use things like ChatGPT. I will. Want to know why? Because ChatGPT isn't doing my job. It is, in many ways, it goes and grabs searches from more places that I can at once. But it's still my job as the technician to read and interpret. And sometimes ChatGPT is wrong. And I know that it's wrong because I know what I'm doing before I ask the question. Usually the question that I'm asking is just trying to help me hone in on something. So the problem was the document. At the end of the day, there was something wrong with the document. Which brings me to the next challenge for techs. Sometimes it's working around those issues. She still needed to print the document. She thought it might possibly be sus, in which case I was like, you really need to check out who this came from, who you're supposed to be sending any transactions to. But since you're wanting to print this letter out, let's do this. Let's, because it was visible in a browser. So within the browser, I used the tools to turn the PDF on its side, so she could use a snap tool or a snip tool to. I use Snagit, so I can, capture a full window, a full image, even if it's longer than the size of the window, because I can start the capture and do a special capture that scrolls. I had to turn it. I had to do the snip. She got a snip of it sideways. Got an image. You open up that image, and then within the image editing program, you turn it back 90 degrees. Then you print that, and it almost looks like you just printed a PDF. Workaround, it got her by, especially since that was the only document she couldn't print, which also was sus. So to close this ticket, I'm going to indicate, because I didn't end up putting any notes in it while I was closing it, so I'm going to indicate that although there were data in her print spooler that we cleared, there were old data in her print spooler that we cleared. The issue was the specific PDF. Oh, I also had her turn off her printer, leave it unplugged for like 30 seconds or so to drain the memory, and then turn that back up. We took an image of the document and we're able to print that. I'm gonna pin this to my resolution, and I'm also gonna kick a copy of that out to the user in question now, because it's after hours. Autotask is tripping, complaining about the fact that it's after hours, but we don't. Our hourly doesn't work like that, so it's not like I have a. It's not like I'm set up to like bill my technicians per hour, and we're not so large that I'm doing analytics to see how much time my techs are spending on the phone versus how much I'm paying them versus how much is getting done in conjunction with how many man hours are going to a client. Now, I may be at a place where I'm already looking at how many man hours are going to how much time is going to a client, but that time is translated. The method by which we measure how much time is being utilized by a client isn't specifically by the hours, because sometimes people like me, I'll knock out a ticket, back to back, and not get an opportunity to put in ticket notes. So it'll ultimately be by volume. So if I have, it'll be by volume and specific categories, or rather, without specific categories. So the categories of my ticketing that have to do with automated monitoring and maintenance tickets that might come in on the back end that are just they can be kind of noise, and are definitely not things that definitely not submissions by users. Those wouldn't necessarily play a role in that calculation. I'm down to 51 tickets. All right, and I'm pretty sure this lady requested this Google block. It was really more like a YouTube block, and I did unblock this last week. So I'm not sure if she tried, or maybe she hadn't rebooted her system since she asked, and I changed. Right now, I've been handling their content filtering through Kaseya's EDR. I'm going to tell you right now, I hate it, and I'll tell you why. I hate it because content filtering should not be based on a computer if users may move computers. I prefer the more flexible configuration of having any type of content filtering mechanism associated with a user, so that filter follows the user, and then it's less on the back end that someone like me has to do, especially since I can't expect for an organization to call us every time they're about to switch machines, especially when half the time the users don't know they have the restriction until they try to do what's restricted. So in my EDR, I still have it open actually. It's just, I'm gonna have to refer. Okay, yeah. So in my EDR, I move that user's account into a group that doesn't have any content filtering. I made certain groups that were definitive, that defined in essence what that filter could be about, or what that particular set of rules could be about. And then I associated particular content filter policies to those groups. So if I wanted to, so users that were in finance may have a general level of blockage that applies just to them and not to some other team. And so every machine that is a part of that finance unit gets assigned a policy. It gets assigned to the computer group, or the group to which the policy that specifically for the finance department was assigned. Super messy. Super messy. One kiosk can throw everything off. One kiosk machine. And these guys have more than one. So yeah. 8 days ago, I'm gonna advise that she restart her computer. I'm not gonna throw it in anybody's face that I already did this. You know what I mean? It's not important. So I'm just gonna let her know, please restart your laptop at your earliest convenience. We have removed the YouTube restriction from your system. Please advise if you have further difficulties connecting to you. We'll use her phrasing a little bit here. Google services. If this is urgent, please text us at our main line. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. All right, and save and close and okay, so we're listening to the same thing that we've been listening to the last several times that I've had a session. But I don't want the little guy on the keyboard sipping the coffee playing, because what do? I sip the coffee. The last few times I've had a session, I've been up like all freaking night long. You want why? Because I had a cup of coffee after 4 p.m. Bad. bad move on my part. I can't be drinking coffee after 4 p.m. It's bad for a lady like me. All right, let's go back to that queue. Oh, we got about 15 minutes left of this. No further action required. Wait a minute. Okay. So I was double checking the specifics, the description in this alert, this last alert that wasn't from either of the two companies. Two tickets I didn't close yesterday because I left a little early. Okay, like I said, I was not in the right headspace. I'm just gonna say resolved. Oh my gosh, guys. You know, and another thing is, I have all of my dang vids. I have all my vids on my NAS here. I'm just gonna have to remote into this machine and do some video editing from home. That's what I'll do. Cause I'm getting all excited about all this because what I'm about to say is I'm closing this ticket because I resolved the printing issues by deploying printer logic, and simplifying printer management for myself and eliminating the various vulnerabilities that have been introduced to the Windows system since, I don't know, 2022, 2023, Print Nightmare, I think it was. And so I have a video that goes over that, explains Print Nightmare, I just need to edit it and upload it. Tested printing functions. I had a similar print spooler issue yesterday with another client. Gotta keep that spooler clean. Gotta keep that spooler spick and span. $47 tickets now. Yesterday morning I got a call about a product that couldn't be accessed. I was at a dentist office. The night before I did some updates, but it was just to a non-critical portion of the whole, of the system that he used, the software that they used to manage this office. It's like minor editing software. Not anything that you would use to see the 3D imaging or anything like that. It's literally called letters. but they couldn't get into this other service, a service that quite frankly has nothing to do with the other. But you know, if it happens in a particular way, it happens in a particular way. You know what I mean? You might as well check it out. It definitely sounds like a coincidence that's worth reviewing. It wasn't. In the end, I'm not sure what I think the person was mistyping their password. The service was available. There was another person on another machine that could get to it. They had the other person try again. They were able to get in with the password. Sometimes issues are just mistakes. And those are my favorite calls, because those are just like free statistics. I don't judge my techs by their statistics at this juncture in the life of my organization, but I can say that I take a point in pride for the amount of tickets that I close in any given year. I typically average, well, let's just say I close a lot of tickets. What is it? It's 15th of the month. And I've already closed 163 tickets. No issue after confirming another user. How about this? A user at a different station could connect to said services. The original user tried again and may have mistyped their password initially. Closing that ticket. And I'm down just like that. It's a 46. I got a couple of systems that have high disk usage. This is not one of the systems that I have to deal with on a regular basis. Let's see. I'm gonna run against this system. I'm gonna run. So there was already a disk cleanup that automatically ran a day ago when so when my clients' hard drives are running low on space, our subsystem automatically runs a disk cleanup. How much were you able to clean up? Statistics for the drive. Cleanup had already been run that day, so let me look at the job that happened before it. I do preserve cookies when I do that for my clients, because otherwise I'm going to get a call about all the passwords they don't know. So I don't touch people's cookies unless I'm specifically dealing with an issue on the web, with web problems. Yeah, that wasn't much. It was like 0.02. Yeah, 0.02% drive space freed up. Okay, so again, a couple things I can do here. One of the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run a quick job against this system And the quick job that I'm going to run is, I like to look up, look up size. Size, okay. And let me show you guys this. So I'm looking up, I'm using this one right here. This get largest files and folders on disk. It creates a list of the files and folders and non-root folders on a specified disk in order of size. And so it does the files and it does the folders. And it stores it a local copy on an endpoint, but I like to have it, but it also outputs to screen, which means that I can see it in my standard out in my activity list for a particular machine. So I'm gonna call up that job, and I choose to not write it to UDF. That's too much information to write to a user-defined field in Datto RMM. I only want to analyze the C drive, and I only want to do a user depth of 25. Otherwise, it's really just going to take too long. And the top 25 folders, largest folders and largest files, should do the trick for getting me getting some space cleared initially. So this is ultimately how I end up setting the job. Don't write to UDF. I only want to look at C. When you first open this, it says C, D, E. The user depth by default is 25. That's perfect. We're going to leave that there. So that's how I'm running that job. Once that data comes back, it is going to list for me, first and foremost, the top heaviest 25 folders. And underneath that, it's going to list the top heaviest 25 files. I've also got a few jobs that I've written script for. I really want to go back and kind of revamp them. But they are scripts designed to look for orphan MSIs and orphan MSPs, MSP files and MSI files, and rid them from the system once they are, and rid them from the system since they're orphaned. Between that and some of the, I mean, like, you will sometimes find that things like this are going to impact your ability to, say, run a repair on an application or uninstall it. It is definitely possible. Sometimes I'll get rid of the pconfig folders for QuickBooks because they're freaking huge. And if it really is that damaged, I can just reinstall with the web remote or with the web setup to replace those files. But if they're using all the features they're going to use in a product, then I'll take the supplemental files off the system to give some space. Now, another thing that I can do to clear space is remove from a particular system all of the extra profiles that it might have on the system. The only issue with doing that right now for me is that there are occasions when I have a problem booting a system into safe mode from the EDR. And I have to boot it in, from the RMM. And the reason I have to do that is because the EDR loads all of the hives, the user hives. It may not load the classes, but it locks the user hive so it can't be changed or modified, which means that I can't change or modify the profile either. The way I get around that is by booting in a safe mode. Right now, while the other job is running, I'm gonna use my agent browser to pan the back end of the file structure here. I'm gonna look at this file management. The system is running Windows 10 Pro, but it looks like it's still got remnants of an upgrade from. Does it have? Maybe not remnants of an up. It's got some temp files that I know I can clear. There's a user I was supposed to install World Ship on. It broke me. Okay, let's see how that job is going. I've only found a couple things to delete on my own. Just things that are at the root. One of the things that I'll look for at the root sometimes is I'll look for, it's just on a desktop, I'll look for hyperfill.sys. It'll be taking up anywhere from like 3 to 6 gigs of space. You can use that. So I just disable hibernation to clear that space. It's still running. The laptop that I have that's running out of space, there's no help. Last place I'm going to look here is in the users directory. What we're looking for is to see if there's any profiles that we can get rid of. This machine does not have a lot of profiles on it, which means that all of that space that's being consumed on this hard drive that is only, 235 gigabytes? We're using 223 out of that. Like, I can't even, this machine is eligible to upgrade to Windows 11, but I can't upgrade it. I don't even have enough space. You'd think this system was running like every version of AutoCAD available and had the source files on disk. That is not what's happening. Still running. And we are getting close to the end of our first, directly at the end of our first hour of the night shift. Yes, we are. And thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here. Even if you aren't. I appreciate you if you watched this live after the fact. Straight chilling. Just working. I would have already been here. Just join me. We're here on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays. I think that's going to be the way I set it up. So now I can still do questions and answers if anybody shows up. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just wanted to confirm something actually. There's my vision. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so pretty cool. I can record while I am streaming. I am going to bring up my demo environment. So to do that, I'm gonna maybe I won't work through my RMM. Maybe I'll work through remote desktop. Getting my password wrong. I don't use it very often. Not manually. There's a whole lot of iDRAC going on. Weird. I'm gonna try using my own admin account. It may be that I didn't put this unit back on okay, so that should be the password though. So I recently upgraded this unit from 2022 server 2022 data center to 2025 data center. Excuse me. Well, this much I know. Oh, gosh. Darn it. Oh, my God. My problem is, if I looked a little bit closer at my login prompt, my problem is that my remote desktop connection is still configured to use for testing purposes, because I was testing access to another machine. I was still using an RD gateway. It was still configured to use an RD gateway, so I could have very well had the correct username and password. I just was routing that login through a device that is not going to use that username and password and think it's correct. God damn it. Okay, I'm going to have to edit remote. Okay, whatever. Let's go. HH. Okay. It could very well be that my password is still wrong. But I don't think I ever joined the host back to the domain after I upgraded it. And I'm pretty sure I took it off the domain when I upgraded it. Okay, I'm in the don't give a fuck land anymore. So, I have all the access I need to this on the back end here. So, I'm going to open remote command prompt here. I'm going to open remote command prompt on this machine. Oops, not net. User. Yeah. Yep. Gotcha. I'm not going to type in that password so you can see it. You think I am a sucker? I'm not a sucker. The working man is a sucker. The working man. The working man is a sucker. Alright, let's do the RDP again. Just let go. Let go. Why won't you let go? And by let go, I mean let go of that gosh darn. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Whatever the password is, people, I have it saved right here. This is wrong, though. But no, that's right. Okay, here we go. Duo everywhere. Oh, shoot, my wife. Is my phone on? Oh, it's on D&D. Pretty fun. Okay, alright, so here we are. So I am looking at my DC, my PC, my DC. Where were we last? Let's take a look at where we were. Let's go ahead and get this thing, this putty started. Because I'm going to take this, and I'm going to make more video content. I got to start doing some editing, but more importantly, I got to go somewhere with this, okay? So let's get some stuff done. If you're missing this, then sorry, you're missing this. So what I've done is I'm trying to build up a demo environment for the Backline team. We have so far on our Hyper-V built up our DC and a PC. We haven't joined them to the domain. I don't even think we've established a domain at this point. I'm going to log in and see. Pretty sure. Obviously I haven't because I'm looking at the administrator login. That said, or rather I'm looking at the administrator login. I have to get used to it. Over there. Either way, and ultimately, what I want to do is, when I have a question from you guys, when I have a question with regards to something that I need to test out, like for instance, the thing that's boggling me about one of my side projects right now, that I cannot seem to get OneDrive to automatically log in, even though I've done it 50 billion gajillion times. I'm gonna try to mock it up on my demo environment, but I can't do that until it's ready. So I'm going to do this. I'm gonna talk through it, get started getting this going, get to a closing place, and then I'll have another video to use to for the site. Although the first one that I made, I really want to edit. I don't like it. I uploaded raw video, I didn't edit it, you know. But anyway, let me start recording so I can get some raw video outside of the stream that I can edit later. So start recording here, recording to my NAS. Thank you and welcome to MSP Backline. Thank you and welcome to MSP Backline. Today we're gonna take some next steps with our project on our demo environment. We are doing this on the night shift, so you lucky night shift viewers are getting to watch this live and see what I do before I get it edited. Hopefully, when I do get it edited, I will have a good enough grasp of the tools that I need to use to get that done. Anyway, let's get going. I'm talking too much. First thing I'm going to do is log onto this machine. And again, my workstation, my Backline PC should basically be at OOBE. Or not. So it's not at OOBE, but it does have a basic admin user. Okay, that's what I did in one of my last videos. I went through OOBE, but who cares? It's really not what's pertinent. If you don't know how to make it through OOBE, you have absolutely no business doing this. None. Okay, so I would love if one of the options was none. None of your business. You wanna know why? Because if you guys can't even freaking do beta testing, like real serious beta testing anymore, I'm not your guinea pig. Anyway, so we have our domain. Let me go check out some of the things that I do for a domain controller when I first get on. I go into the IE Enhanced Security Configuration, and I do turn that off because I use the browser on my DC. I know people think, there are times when you need to use your gosh darn browser. I don't do browsing on my DC, but if I need to facilitate a download on my DC, I'm gonna use it, and gosh darn it, I'm not gonna want to add trusted sites every time I turn around. Lock down your firewall and get some good security software. Okay, thank you. All right. Our time zone is correct. None of this other stuff needs to be tickled right now. Activating Windows. We're doing. This is 2025. I think I upgraded this puppy to 2025. That's what I did last. I upgraded this to server 2025 and got the PC past OOBE. So we are still looking at a server that is running server 22. Now it is running server 2025 standard. It has a generic device name, and we need to take steps forward to make this the first domain controller in the MSP Backline domain. Yay! And then I'm gonna probably in some way attach it. Well, not in some way. I'm gonna attach it to my Wilt space, my What I Learned Today space, which is the overarching tenet above all the stuff that I'm doing. Someday I'll start developing wilt.foo. That's where I want to do some of my test development under that domain name, but I don't have that up and going yet. WILT, What I Learned Today. All right, so next step, I'm going to go ahead and add... Actually, I'm going to go ahead and rename this gosh darn PC. And I'm going to also activate it. So I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to look up activation. As I told you earlier, when I was getting on to this Hyper-V server, I was letting you know that I had recently upgraded the host to server 2025 data center. So what that means for me is that when it comes time for me to activate any of my guests, all I need to do is find AVMA keys. And I will go to the Googs and type in AVMA keys. Automatic virtual machine activation in Windows Server. This is server 2025 standard. This is supposed to be what you need to do to activate your key. 2025 standard. Make sure I get a space. Rock on. Installed product key successfully. Windows is activated. We're gonna rename. I kind of like short names. So we're MSP Backline, so our short name is going to be MSPB DC. Sub. Alright, so we're going to rename this MSPB DC. I'll restart later because I am going to double check something real quick and make sure I don't have any update. That's what I thought. So ideally, hopefully, one of these updates will require a reboot, and then I've killed two birds with one stone. Head on my reboot update and the update associated with my server rename all together. Then we can get into some fun stuff. Ooh, while the server is running these updates here, I will be right back. I need to put my watch on the charger. Alright, I dimmed the lights a little bit. I don't even think you can really tell. I need to get some situations going on back here. But you can see the light. You can see the light glowing from my exit sign and from my company what is it? Neon sign on the wall. It's pretty cool. Cool, that's pending restart. Alright, just gonna double check my live. Alright, solid. My live sounds good. I'm gonna leave it running on my phone here so I can double check every once in a while, make sure everything is okie dokies, and that I'm not gonna have any audio issues with my recording. Alright, cool. 29% on this install. There's really nothing we can do with the PC right now. Main reason for that is there's no domain going. I'm not going to do anything with it until I join it to the domain. I am going to do this one as a domain join, get a hybrid situation going on as I build up the relationship between my machine, or my server, my domain, and the domain that's out in the cloud. Further, I want to take the next step and do what I've done with some of my other clients, which is shift us out to the cloud. Now, if you're trying to learn how to do this because you've got an active project going on, this is the wrong place, because I'm taking my sweet time. But you can reach out, holler at me, and I'll put my email in the description of the video. But it is holla. That is holla at MSPBackline.com. You guys can, if you have any questions or you want to hit me up about some help that you might need with the project, that is the email that you can use. $37. Little bit more time. I'm gonna go put something in this glass. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. And we can restart this computer and get started with the installation of Active Directory domain services. Tasty. Now, everything that I'm documenting in IT Glue, okay? Oh, I'm gonna dig in, I'm telling you. Because I'm gonna use I wanna show off with some of my tools too. I do. But for those things that I can't do live because I can't let you see stuff, I I am gonna have to do recording. So just bear with me. If anybody out here hops onto this and you have some video editing skills and you can do it faster than me, please let me know. You know what I mean? I would love some help. I'm not making any money right now because I'm a one-man crew, but I'm down for wrecking it. I've been a one-man crew most of my life. Let's go with this gosh darn install. What are we stuck at 37% for? Let's go. There we go. Now we're talking. The malicious software tool removal tool shouldn't take too long. I think that's a good thing about like full-blown recordings. Ultimately, when I'm done with this recording, what I put out in a controlled way is going to be better. It's not going to have all this waiting time. Speaking of waiting time, I mean, geez. While we're waiting, let's see what else I got in my ticket queue that I can get rid of. Because for the love of God, this is making me want to pull my hair out. Check on a couple backups. Take forever to load, why don't you? I really need you to take all night to load this console too. Please. Alright. 64% on the install, looking good. I'm on another screen checking some backups. This is displeasing. I'm going to check on this server. It may need to be rebooted. I'm going to try. I'm going to see if it's been rebooted in the last 3 days. 2 days ago, it was rebooted, so I got bigger fish to fry with that backup job before it becomes a problem. But in the meantime, the machine that I ran the disk analysis on, I'm looking at the standard out for that machine. Come on, hurry up. Free space 12 gigs. Largest subfolders on the drive, and then it lets me know what folders it wasn't able to pull up. Yep, there's a pconfig. 803 meg UPSW, the auto download for the world ship product. Auto download has 657 gigs of data, megs of data. Installer cache. So these are the folders. An Adobe temp folder, 300 and something. The fonts has a lot of stuff that's just not gonna get touched. The CRX cache for Google. Data folder for World Ship. Backup test for app compatibility. Windows. What? I'm gonna go down to the files. See if I can pick out any specific files that I can get rid of. This thing is not doing it. I know you're not moving because that would not be highlighted anymore. If you were. Let's Google. Let's Google-de-goo. 745. Datacab 1 and pconfig. Auto download, that's a version of the installer. rvpcodes.dat. That's a big DLL. That's an old one. Okay, I can see a few things I can get rid of on this machine. I'll have to do it later though, because I'm working the night shift and doing this demo environment. Sorry, I'm feeling impatient. I'm gonna go ahead and restart it now. If it wants to continue with the updates on the way to reboot, that's fine. If it wants to stop it, that's fine too. But the updates that we were waiting for have no bearing on our ability to begin the process of building out this domain. And at this rate, I'm tired of sitting here waiting for Microsoft's updates. Probably something I should have done before I started recording, but I just wasn't sure where I was with the whole process. It probably is doing some updating, which is why it's not going to let me reconnect to the virtual machine session, okay? But if I take a look at my Hyper-V console, what I will see is that if I look closely, I can see how long the server's been up. And it's been up for 8 days, 23 hours, 32 minutes, and 56 seconds. Once that resets, then I know that it has rebooted. And then I should be able to connect back to the terminal. But until such time as that happens, and it happened. So now I should be able to click connect, and this time it will let me see the boot process. But it was in a kind of an in-between phase. Notice that I started my sipping when I started working on my demo environment, not while I was working on my client environment. So I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl. All right, here we are, back at login. What comes next? What comes next? Well, we've activated the server. We've renamed the server to be what we want it to be. We need to rename it first, because after you make a machine a domain controller, you cannot rename it. It is a no-no. You would have to demote it first, and then promote it. So we've done our rename, we've done our reboot. Don't care about the updates at this juncture. If they continue, they continue. But for the sake of finishing, we're going to move forward with the installation of Active Directory domain services. And I'm going to start building up. My my script library with you guys too. Okay. So I'm also going to let's go over to let's go to MSP Backline. I'll make a new folder up in this piece. And we'll just call it working. Everybody's working on the weekend. We will be. We'll be working on Saturday, yo. If I can help it. Alright. Okay, so what do we do to add? We click manage, you click add. What we're doing initially is we're just installing the features that we could use to manage an existing environment were this just to be a member server. Excuse me. So, like, me personally, like, I am super interested in running a server as a workstation because I'm pretty, but I would install the feature set like that as opposed to the way that you install it like on a client machine. But ultimately, I'm sorry, I was kind of talking too much. I shouldn't have had this. We're going to install the role for Active Directory domain services, okay? On its own, it is the tool set that you can use to manage a domain. And it really doesn't matter if you're part of the domain, as long as you know how to interface with it. I'm not going to go any further than that. This is a role-based or feature-based installation. We shall move forward. There's only one server in our environment. There's only one server. More to the point, there's only one server in our server management console. That's why there's only one server to listed here, just so you guys know. Let's go. As the server selection. Next, we're going to pick the roles that we want to activate. Today, within the confines of this session, please. I do not know what's taking so long, for the love of God. Yeah, it's definitely not a resource thing. My host doesn't give a crap about these machines. It's just like, you were saying. And anything else we might try out, you know what I mean? Because, like, if I do anything major, I'm going to checkpoint this B-A-I-H. I'm going to checkpoint it. I'm going to checkpoint it so that I can undo what I did. So there's a few different things I want to play with. I want to play with this arc too, but I really think that that is more... That's more for environments that are just like super big and have, not really necessarily super big, but they've got a lot of stuff on their network that just isn't ready to be migrated to the cloud. And so you've got to use that arc for that connective tissue between your office network, or your network that's on your local LAN, your network that's in the cloud. It's accessible everywhere. Well, you have the right firewalls, and you've got it set up for the right hops, and you can connect to your local LAN network through your Azure VPN. And I've constructed that before. Shoot, I've had an environment as big as two, like as it pertains to Azure and VPNs and connectivity, 2 physical locations in 2 separate cities, and an Azure location, and VPN clients, point-to-site clients that connected to a VPN Azure and still had access to both location A and location B's shares at the same time. And that is called BGP. That is BGP routing. Couldn't think of the word. Which is Border Gateway Protocol, where every border is cognizant of the other borders and where to send it. And where to send data if it needs to hop along. And I thought that I'd see, and it wasn't, I didn't have too many point-to-site connectivity, too much point-to-site connectivity, but I was pleasantly pleased at the lack of high-end usage or high dollar usage on the egress ingress side of things with the Azure VPN. I can't remember what their monthly cost was on their egress and ingress, but it wasn't huge. So here we are at server roles. What we're looking for is Active Directory domain services. It's going to automatically include these tools. You don't want to exclude this. What are you doing if you do? What are you going to manage this with? You got to have a UI with which to open this stuff. Of course, you can still manage from a workstation, but on the server, most definitely, you need the tool set. So we're going to click Add Features. Now, Active Directory and DNS are integrated, but you do not need to click the box for DNS server. The installation process is going to do that for you because they are integrated such that one cannot survive without the other in an Active Directory domain service. This is just showing that these things are already installed. There's nothing else that's already installed. We're not going to choose anything else right now but Active Directory domain services. We're going to click Next. And we're not going to choose any features. I swear to God, every time I try to kill two birds with one stone and add framework, .NET Framework 3.5, because I know invariably I'm going to end up needing it before the end of my setup of any particular server, it doesn't work. So I just try to keep what I have going on here just on its own, okay? In my little working folder, because I don't have a better way of organizing it right now, I'm going to just make a text file called setupdc. Open that text file. And then I'm going to go... Oh, notice that group policy management is selected for us. We do want to leave that. That's part of the Active Directory management toolkit. And click Next. It tells you about the Azure Active Directory. We're going to learn all about that. There's nothing you can do here. It just kicks you to two different articles to learn more. It just says, hey, you can tie me to your Azure Active Directory domain too. Don't forget about me. We're going to put a check in the box to restart this destination server automatically. If required, it is required. Actually, I don't know if it's required for this. It's definitely going to be required for the promotion. So we're going to... We're not going to specify an alternative source path. We're not going to export the configuration settings. What I really wanted to do... Well, I thought I was... I know that's not what I'm looking for, though. I'm going to go ahead and tap install. Oh, there it is. Wait, no, that's still export configuration settings. That's not what I wanted. What I was looking for was... the PowerShell commands that can be used. You used to be able to get them from out of here. From out of the wizard, you used to be able to collect them for future reference, and then you could just pretty them up for the next client. Let's see what this says. I'm going to open this with Notepad. Not at all what we're looking for. That is not. I'm going to delete this because who cares about that? Alright, so that is installing. When I have code, I'll add it, and I'll work to get the PowerShell commands. I don't have the PowerShell commands handy right now, but I'll get the PowerShell commands that we would use to create this domain from Scrizatch. Maybe. Ivy baby. That doesn't look too bad. MSP Backline. Cash, I'm just looking at my overlay here for Cash App. We're getting close to a stopping point here. We're gonna stop at 7:30. We started at, we'll stop at 7:31. We started at 5:31. A good 2 hours. 1 hour of me doing some work, and another hour of us working on the MSP Backline environment, which I'm doing. And I'll be able to trim this recording up. Obviously, it's gonna be way less than an hour that it takes. It's just waiting on this stuff, really. Well, I'll go ahead and log into the workstation while we're waiting for this to finish, and I guess we'll start doing some updates here. It's worth noting that if you're gonna like Azure join, get things configured with Intune, you've already gone too far. If you're logging in right here, might as well just do your first time login and do a reset. Because when you're joining, when you're not doing a hybrid join, when you're doing a pure Azure AD join of a domain, that you want to do from the out-of-box experience. And this is running 10. So I'm gonna install this, but I do have more to do. I'm gonna set up Active Directory domain servers, and I'm glad that's all I'm really gonna have time for. Because what I am gonna actually need to do is I'm gonna need to carve out my own VLAN. Because right now, as you see, it keeps picking up on my LAN that bears my domain name. And it needs to be in its own space because I can't have, it's kind of like, you know, network parallax, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have two DCs occupying the same space at the same time. It's against the laws of physics, as it were. Two different DCs, two DCs for two different domains. It's not advisable. So we're gonna get this installed. We're gonna get this tool set installed, but at the end of the day, if I logged back in onto my local account and opened that tool set, it would sniff out my own corporate domain and allow me to interface with that. Of course, the credentials that are on this machine aren't gonna work, but we would be able to inject the credentials for that domain to connect to that domain, leeching off of it, if you will. So for this unit right here, this machine that's running Windows 10, that is to be a client machine, I'm gonna just go ahead and update, see if I can do see if it'll pull down the update if it senses the update. Good lord, senses the update in Windows Update. Another reason I need to go, because I got hiccups. And we're just gonna rush it. I'm actually gonna check my ISO folder. I may already have it. Yeah, but it's from 2023. I'm gonna download a newer piece of media here, and I'll do it on my host. Let me go ahead and run this installation assistant because it's gonna complain that I didn't run it. And then I'm gonna take that URL, drop it here, and I'm gonna download the ISO. So we're going to download that, and then we're just going to load it onto my workstation on the back end of the host. And run the upgrade by double-clicking on the media from Windows Explorer. Instead of using Windows Update in the that's the installation assistant, my bad. Well, regardless, I needed to download the media, so welcome to A1 in your browser. A1 in your browser. We'll open it, no need to add shortcuts to the desktop. It's completely unnecessary. Quarter done. 2/3 done. TPM 2.0 needs to be supported, huh? My processor. That's a bummer. That's like a bummer, dude. Secure boot is enabled, but I'm not using enable TPM. It's not gonna get past. It's not gonna get past my whole. It's not gonna get past my whole processor situation. Ain't that about a bitch? Whatever they can fucking do to get you to buy more shit. Doesn't matter, I don't need your Windows. Makes me wonder if I do just install it. Which 11 not supported, but it's still gonna work just fine for this. Perfect. Okay, so that is done. That install is done. It will next be time to promote this server, but I cannot promote this until I get off of this VLAN. And just to confirm, see here. Duplicate terminal. Jeez, how many times does a girl have to ask? Kind of rude. I just want to confirm. Yeah, I'm on the wrong subnet. So, basically, one of my next steps before I can go any further with building out this demo environment is going to be configuring a separate VLAN on my Sonic wall. I'm not covering that with you guys. I'll make the VLAN situation for myself. I might record it and put it out later. But I will show you what I do to configure the VM to hook to the VLAN. Because reality is, there's a lot of people that are jacks of all trades, but most of the time, you're going to end up doing a job that is within your particular wheelhouse, and you've got somebody else that does something different. Now, I spend a lot of time breathing down the neck of my engineer, the engineer that handles all of the stuff that has to do with layer 1 and 2 in the OSI model. And so I've learned a lot over the years, which has been great. And I plan to teach as much as I can to you guys and be here if you need some assistance with any projects. That said, I want to thank everybody for coming out to the night shift. We are done for the evening. We've gotten as far as we can go. And we have reached our 2-hour moment. I get an hour of working with you, an hour of working on something specifically. Typically, it's going to be our demo environment, or when we have people in our stream that have questions, we'll work on the process of like recreating a problem or creating a solution for a problem. All the same, thank you again for joining me on MSP Backline's night shift. I truly appreciate your company, whether your company is here with me live, which I didn't have anybody today, but that's fine, or you catch me later. Hang on, listen to the entirety of the video, give me a little bit of a boost in the algorithms, and again, I want to thank you so much for joining me, MSP Backline, night shift, and I will catch you on Saturday. Yeah. Working man is a sucker.